So it should be like a deep pink or bright blurred color. If it's starting to turn grayish, that means it's starting to get spoiled. And lastly, use your fingers, run through the skin. It should be slippery, and you press the flesh firmly, and it should rebound quickly. If the imprint remains after pressing it, that means it's time to say goodbye. Okay, let me just get rid of this fish. Bye-bye, fishy. I'm still talking to a fish. I'm just going to sanitize my hands. It's always a good habit to sanitize your hands after handling raw meat or fish so that you don't cross-contaminate. Okay. So to serve with this salmon, I'll be making a complete meal. So you have your starch, your vegetables all together. So it's a complete meal. So I'm going to start off with the potatoes. Okay, I'm just going to keep the salmon first because potatoes takes the longest to cook. So I'm going to grab this pot, fill it up with some water. So the potatoes that I'll be serving today is called forked scallop potatoes. Did I say it right? Yeah, I did. I did mean forked. So basically, what you need to do is peel your potatoes. You could use a peeler if you like, but I prefer a knife. It goes a lot faster. Okay. And then just cut your potatoes. Just a rough cut because you're going to boil it. Put it up in your pot. All right, I've done about 4 potatoes in here right now. Okay, so instead of making plain boiled potatoes, I'm going to flavor it with some kaffir lime leaves. These are beautiful. If you just break it, you get a beautiful lemony flavor. So this is used widely in Thai cuisine. So a couple of lime leaves, lemongrass. All you need to do is cut this top part off because the most of the flavor comes from the stem. So give it a big bang. And I'll also be adding some pandan leaves. Pandan leaves is widely available in Asia. It's also known as screw pine leaves. So just a couple of them, just tie it into a knot and just add it in, okay? Some salt. And then you bring it to a boil. Whenever you cook potatoes, always start with cold water. The reason being, so that the outer part of the potatoes does not overcook before the inside gets cooked. So when it cooks out evenly. All right, so while that's cooking, I'm going to start off with my mushrooms. So to go with the salmon, I'll be doing a wild mushroom ragu. So I've got a few selection of mushrooms. Here I've got some shiitake mushrooms. So 3 of that would be fine. I've got 1 portobello mushrooms, some white and brown button mushrooms, and oyster mushrooms. I love oyster mushrooms. They are very beautiful. There's a beautiful taste to it. Well, you can use any mushrooms you like, okay, whatever's available in your place. Okay, if you get them grown in the wild, you need to wash them just before you're about to cook it because mushroom tends to absorb water very quickly and it also has a very high water content. So I'm just going to roughly cut it very quickly. The portobellos. Shiitake, you just take this stem off because it is quite hard. White onion and a couple of garlic. Okay. I'm using the white ones so it doesn't affect the color too much, because in a ragu, the mushrooms are practically just brown, and I'm going to finish it off with some cream, so I just want to maintain a very light brownish kind of color. So I'm not going to use any red onion, I'll just change the color totally. Garlic. Okay, and just roughly chop them up. I like garlic. I always use garlic in my cooking. Just a little bit of onion should be fine. Just quickly chop it up. This is the fastest way that you chop an onion. Slice it downwards, down the middle, and then just chop it up quickly. There you go. Okay, I'll add some herbs to my mushrooms, so I'll use some thyme and perhaps some parsley as well. Well, you may use tarragon if you have, but I prefer some thyme. Just give it a rough chop. Okay, and a little bit of parsley. Same again, just chop it up roughly. There you go. All right, I've got all my ingredients here, so I'm gonna start cooking it right now. So, a nice pan, heat it through. I'm gonna add some olive oil to it. Come and have a look at my potatoes here. I can get the flavors from the lemongrass, the pandan leaves. It just smells good. Always add your butter after the oil so it doesn't burn too quickly. Right. To make it easy, I'm just going to carry the chopping board over here. Okay, once the oil and butter mix is hot, add in the chopped onions and your garlic. Okay. So just saute them until it's translucent and you can get the smell. So I'll be adding some pouring cream or heavy cream if you call it. The next stage will be your mushrooms. So you just saute them till they are all very, very soft. Well, you saute it till it's like, it'll probably take about 6-7 minutes. Yeah, till the mushroom is all nice and brown and it's soft basically. So once the mushrooms are soft, then I'm going to add my pouring cream and the rest of my herbs. Salt, pepper. Okay, in goes the pouring cream. Okay, and my chopped thyme and parsley. So, lastly, the enoki mushrooms. Just break them up a little bit like this and just sprinkle it in. Take a look at that. I wish you guys could smell this. It's a beautiful creamy mushroom ragu. Okay, so I'm going to leave that and see how our potatoes are doing. Okay, you want to test it, you can either use a fork or a paring knife. Okay, once they go through easily, that means your potatoes are cooked. Okay, so I can strain this off now. Alright, so for our fox scallion potatoes, what I will need is some butter. Also some sour cream, some scallions. I prefer to use sour cream. Well, a lot of people, they do use milk and butter and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. I prefer sour cream because it gives a sourish flavor to it. It's entirely up to you. I also need some pickle juice. I'm just going to go to the pantry. Alright, these are some cornichons. I'll just only be using the juice. I got some sun-dried tomatoes. I'll be using it for my salad later on. Okay, so some pickle juice. So all I need is just a little bit just to have that pickle flavor to it. The sour cream, that's about, say about 5 teaspoons. Some butter. And I'm just going to slice the scallions. So just very finely slice it. Okay. To the mix. And seasoning. Salt. And black pepper. Okay. And this is called fox scallop potatoes, so I'll use a fork. Just mix it all up together. So it actually gives some texture when you actually eat it. So it's not just a smooth paste, but you actually feel the chunkiness of the potatoes. Nice and creamy. Okay, just gonna have a little taste. Just a touch more seasoning. That's the scallop potatoes. So next I'll be preparing a cherry tomato relish to go with the fish. I've got some beautiful red and yellow cherry tomatoes here. These are very, very nice. They are sweet, and with the spices of the crusted salmon, this will actually balance it out. So just a few yellow and a few red. I like to play around with colors, so this will actually brighten up the dish. Alright, tomatoes. And since it's a relish, so it's more like a pickle, but it's uncooked. Some beautiful cilantro or coriander. I'll add 1 red onion to it. So as you can see, I'm playing around with the color here. So I've got some beautiful green, red onions, red and yellow cherry tomatoes. So I'm just going to roughly chop it up. Just make it into a chunky piece. So I'm just going to say about that size. So I'm just going to put all the ingredients together. Let's do one more. Relishes are very easy to make. And it's pretty quick. You don't have to cook it. Just your main ingredients, and then you just have to flavor it up. The cherry tomatoes I'll cut into quarters, just like this. So for this cherry tomato relish, I'll be adding some plum sauce to it, and that will like balance out the whole sourness and sweet and sour kind of flavor. My eyes are tearing from the red onions that I cut just now. Cry baby. So some cilantro, just roughly chop it up, just like that. Okay. Beautiful, look at that color. Okay, so plum sauce, which is also widely used in Asian cuisine. It's very, very sweet, made of plums, obviously. Say about 2 teaspoons of that. I'm also going to add some lime juice. So what I've got here, okay, that's lemon obviously. Okay, this is calamansi rinds. So I prefer this wine because it also has a sweet and sour flavor. So just see the juice. I'll probably add about 3 limes. There are lots of pips in them, so just squeeze it through your fingers. Okay, so I've got all my lime juice in there. I prefer the lime rather than the lemon because it has a different sourness to it. This calamansi lime has a slight sweetish flavor. Seasoning, as always. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil just to smooth it all out. Some black pepper. There you go. Excellent. You know what I can add to this? Some fish sauce. There you go. Fish sauce is widely used in Thai cuisine or even in the Philippines. So not only adds a fishy flavor, it actually improves on the whole relish dish. So just a few drops of fish sauce because it is quite salty. Taste. Alright, let's go ahead with the salmon now. So for the spice crusted salmon, so I'll be using a pesto mortar. So what I've got here is some coriander seeds. Just say like about a teaspoon of each. Okay, got some fennel seeds over here. Also about a teaspoon. Cumin seeds. Same again. And some black peppercorns. You don't need to toast them first because it's going to be pan fried anyway. So I'm just going to quickly, coarsely, you do not want it too fine, just okay, we're almost there, because I still want like little bits and pieces of the spices. Right, there you go. That texture, that should be fine. Okay, so what you do now, just gonna put it onto a plate. So here you have all your spices, a touch of seasoning to it. And all you have to do is grab your salmon and give it a good coat. Okay, make sure it's nicely crusted all around. Salmon is a beautiful freshwater fish. It's actually a very oily fish, but it's got good omega oil, so it is quite healthy actually. Let me just wash my hands quickly. Okay, so next stage is going to pan fry the salmon. So all you have to do is just pan fry with a little bit of olive oil. That should do. Okay, while that's heating up, I'm just going to prepare my salad. So what I'll be using is some frise lettuce, some rocket lettuce, the sun-dried tomato that I took earlier on. Maybe I'll add a red onion and perhaps a tomato. So to go with this salad, I'll be making a red onion vinaigrette. I'll show it to you in a while. So all you need is just a little small sprigs of the lettuce. Just use the tips. So just the little tips of all the freezing.